This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Here now, Tony Bruschi.
One of the most revealing moments in any criminal trial comes before the first witness is sworn in. It is the decision every defendant has to make. Will I testify? For most defendants, especially in cases involving serious felonies like first-degree murder, the answer is no, they don't take the stand. They let their lawyers speak for them. It's not because they're hiding, it's because the risk is enormous. When you're in that witness box, the rules change. You're no longer sitting quietly while your attorney objects, projects, and reframes. You are the focus. The prosecution controls the questions, the timing, and the tone. And the jury, the people who will decide whether you go home or spend the rest of your life in a cell, they're watching your every blink, pause, and inflection. That's why Donna Adelson's apparent willingness, some say eagerness to testify in her own defense, is one of the most surprising and, frankly, most telling developments in this case. It's not common, and when it does happen, it usually means one of two things. Sometimes it means the defendant truly believes their own innocent story will carry the day. They think, if I can just tell my side of the story, people will understand. They'll get it. Other times it's rooted in ego. The belief that they're the best, most persuasive person to speak on their behalf. They may not trust their lawyers to get the tone exactly right or to hammer home the points that they think are essential. And sometimes it's about control. Taking back the microphone in a process where every other part of their life has been seized. The personality that chooses to testify under this level of risk, well, let's just say it overlaps with certain traits we've seen in Donna before. And yes, again, all allegedly, we're talking about narcissistic control. A high need for it. Confidence, sometimes overconfidence in their ability to read a room. A history of steering conversations, whether in family disputes, business, or public life. The underlying belief is this: if I can just get in front of those jurors, I can make them see it my way. And before that in life, it was, if I can just get in front of this problem, if I can just speak to the people before they hear about this over here that's going to make me look bad, I can steer the narrative, the emotions, the feelings, the reactions that people will naturally have to my decisions. And if I don't like their reaction, well, I can find a way to fix it. I think Donna's allegedly done that quite a bit throughout her life, and it's worked. Otherwise, she wouldn't be sticking with these strategies. For someone who's been the central voice in their family for decades, who's influenced decisions and shaped narratives from the inside out, staying silent might feel impossible. The witness's stand offers a direct connection to the jury, unfiltered by attorneys, unmuted by objections. It's the purest form of self-presentation left in the trial process, but it's also the most dangerous. Prosecutors love a defendant who wants to testify because it gives them the chance to use the defendant's own words against them live in front of the jury. They'll start with the obvious. The relocation bribe emails, the raise them Catholic conversation, the phone records from the morning of the murder, the dental office checks to Catherine McBonna, the FBI bump recordings, the one-way ticket to Vietnam. Each of those becomes a pointed question. Not an abstract accusation, but a you did this, explain it now sort of thing. And in cross-examination, explanations are traps. If you answer too fast, you seem rehearsed. Too slow, you look like you're inventing a story. Contradict yourself, and the prosecutor pounces. Even a truthful answer can be framed to sound suspicious if the prosecutor controls the order and the emphasis. I've seen it play out in other high-profile cases. Jodi Arias in 2013 testified for 18 days in her own murder trial. She was articulate, she was composed, and it backfired. Jurors later said that the more she talked, the less they believed her. The sheer length of her testimony gave the prosecution endless opportunities to highlight inconsistencies and points to manipulations. Alex Murdaugh in 2023 took the stand in his double murder trial. He admitted to some lies, denied the murders, and tried to come across as candid. Jurors said later that his testimony confirmed what the prosecution had been saying all along, that he was skilled at manipulating people and situations to serve his own ends. Oscar Pistorius of South Africa testified in his trial for killing Rivera Steenkamp. He tried to control the narrative, but under cross-examination, he became emotional, defensive, and inconsistent. The judge later referenced his testimony as part of why she didn't believe his account. And those are just the headline cases. In smaller trials I've followed, I've seen defendants talk themselves right into conviction, not because they admitted guilt outright, but because they gave the jury a reason to distrust them. An inconsistent statement, a flash of arrogance, a refusal to answer directly. Donna Adelson, if she takes the stand, she's stepping into all of that. The reason she might do it, ego, control, belief in her own persuasiveness. Well, congratulations, Donna. Keep believing in yourself. Please do. Are the same reasons it can and will go wrong. Here's another wrinkle. This could be a part of a broader family strategy. In a case where the Adelsons have been portrayed as tight, coordinated in a unit, the matriarch stepping up to testify could be meant to send a message. It could be about optics, showing confidence, projecting unity, implying she has nothing to hide. But if that's the play, it's a dangerous one. Because unlike a pretrial statement or a media interview, testimony is under oath with penalties for perjury. And in a setting where every word can be dissected, the psychological downside, if it backfires, it's immense. Jurors remember moments, not transcripts, and if she comes off as combative when pressed, if she appears to dodge a direct question, if her tone shifts into condescension, those impressions can outweigh even the strongest defense arguments. Jurors are human. They read body language. They know when someone pauses too long, looks away, or answers a question, or answers with a question instead of a statement. They pick up on micro expressions, that half-second flash of irritation, which Donna is very good at, that quick smirk, that tightening of the jaw. And they talk about it in deliberations. If they say humility, sincerity, and consistency, they might give her the benefit of the doubt. But while Donna thinks she's projecting that, she's always projecting something very, very different. She just doesn't understand that other people don't see her the way she sees herself. If they see defensiveness, control tactics, or what they interpret as manipulation, which is how Donna comes across, it can cement a guilty vote before closing arguments even begin. And here's the brutal truth. Prosecutors will work to make those moments happen. They'll press on sensitive points. They'll circle back to earlier answers to expose contradictions. They'll bring out documents that undercut her version of events. They'll frame questions in ways that force her to either agree with damaging statements or appear evasive. Testifying is the ultimate high wire act. For Donna, it's not just a legal decision, it's an identity test. If she's lived for her entire life as the voice in the room that people listen to, that people follow, stepping into that witness box may feel like the only way to be herself in the middle of a process designed to strip her of control. But that's also the trap, because in the courtroom, she's not the one directing the conversation anymore. The very traits that may have served her in family disputes, business negotiations, and social settings, confidence, persistence, strategic framing, can read very differently to a jury hearing them in the shadow of murder charges. So if she takes the stand, it's not going to be any Wheel of Fortune appearance. It won't just be a legal move. It'll be a psychological gamble, one that tells us as much about who Donna Adelson believes she is as it does about her defensive strategy. The witness box will become her stage, and the jury will decide whether they're watching a credible truth teller or the final act of a performance that's been years in the making. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section on YouTube. If not there already, search Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. So you can find us there. Do the same if you're downloading podcasts so you don't miss any of our coverage on this case.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.